Today we will begin to see what results from the experience of the children of Israel's wilderness wandering in our own lives. Reading from Psalm 78:20 through 22. Behold, he struck the rock so water gushed out and streams were overflowing. Can he give us bread also? Will he provide meat for his people? Therefore the Lord heard and was full of wrath. And the fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also mounted against Israel, because they did not believe in God and did not trust in his salvation. To this point in Psalm 78, we've been following the rebellion of the fledgling Hebrew nation as it is being moved through the wilderness on their 40-year march to the Promised Land after God had miraculously extracted them from the slave masters in Egypt. Verse 21 records, Therefore God heard and was full of wrath, and fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also mounted against Israel, is probably referring to Numbers 11, 1 through 3. Now the people began complaining openly before the Lord about hardship. When the Lord heard, his anger burned, and fire from the Lord blazed among them and consumed the outskirts of the camp. Then the people cried out to Moses, and he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was named Taberah, because the Lord's fire had blazed among them. During the course of their wilderness wanderings, God established his requirement for his embedded principles. The principles that formed the law were recognizable by dictates and experience. So God used the Hebrew people to establish, record in detail, and to illustrate his desired adherence to these principles for all people and for all times. The failure of God's special possession to observe these principles reveals God's attitude about righteous living, as well as his chastisement for willfully transgressing his just requirements. And this is for all generations of God's people, Jews and Gentiles alike. We will continue to follow Israel's rebellion along with God's gracious mercy and his recompense toward Ephraim as he established his covenant through Judah.